Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Conservation Commission for November 28, 2016. Very short agenda tonight. We will open the meeting with old business, and that'll be an update on the calculations for determinations of applicability conditions for 1400 Bedford Street. Now, this has already been voted on. We don't have to leave because it's already been voted on. So they're just going to update us because there was a stipulation on that. The stipulation was that if the calculations worked, it would be approved. And we're here tonight because
they don't work. I went through two different scenarios on the drainage calculations to see if they were going to improve or be detrimental to the area. So I did two different methods of drainage calculations based on a 2-year, a 10-year, 25-year, and a 100-year storm. In no case could I get all the storm designs to work. The pipe that's the inlet pipe, the 12-inch inlet pipe. It works in a 2-year storm. It works okay in a 10-year storm. 25-year storm, there's quite a bit of backup. In a 100-year storm, you need a substantially larger pipe. So we went to the state and explained that to them. So we are now in the process of eliminating the pipe going into the wetlands, and they're going to allow us to revise the existing catch basin that's there and remove the grate and the frame and grate on the catch basin and make it a manhole. And right beside it, we're going to put a new catch basin that has a deep sump and has a gas trap on it, which is preferable to them so that it'll eliminate any grit that's going to be going into the new system, and it'll eliminate any impurities that are going to go into the state system. We're still going to scour the pipe, the 12-inch pipe, if there's anything in there, to scour it and make it flow as well as we can. That's something also when I talked to the state that they said they would be also doing. They'd be scouring the existing pipes. And when that is done, when the state does do it, they will be improving the pipe that's on the other side of Vineyard Road, and they will be improving the drainage that's in Bedford Street. But we are going to go through the permit process with them now, and that way they will. We'll be able to get the permit for the Travies, or for the 1400 Bedford Street site.
Jerry's not here, so in other words, you're withdrawing it.
I'm withdrawing it, yes.
I guess there's nothing else to be said.
Yep. No, so you've gotten permission to...
Yeah, we've gotten permission. I've talked with a couple of the members at the Department of Transportation. I'm in the process of getting the application in. This was the plan that I'm going to present to them. I had already discussed it with them of what we wanted to do. He discussed it with his higher-ups, and we were all in agreement that they would allow a permit based on this design. So that's the best way, I guess. At this point, that's the way we'll have to they will have to proceed.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh, I'm sorry. Open to the public at all? Okay. That's fine.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope everyone's Thanksgiving was nice.
We'll
Very
see you
good.
again sometime on this, right?
Not on this one.
No,
That's
this is,
something else.
this is still within the 100...
I got a matching pair of glasses
This is within 100
like
feet
that.
of the wetlands. Probably are going to have to file with us again, right?
Yeah, once we get the permit, I guess that's what we'll have to do.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice seeing you, Russ.
Have a good one. I might not see you. Have a good
I've seen you
Christmas.
too.
Yeah.
I don't see you-
Have a good holiday.
anymore.
Huh?
All right.
I don't see you load anymore, quick.
You did.
Yeah.
Get in the way.
Get in the way of the guy.
Drawing the notice of intent.
No, they didn't do another intent.
Yeah,
They did
yeah,
with that.
yeah.
So they
It's
just
just
left.
withdrawing.
Okay.
Okay, as far as the building permits go, Jerry's not here, but I'm assuming everything went fine. Has everybody had a chance to look over the minutes? And do I have
A motion to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Now, before we close, and we get to the mail, I have to bring up something to the board that I am brand new to. I'll tell you what happened, and I found out that this is horrific. I got a phone call about 202 Colonel Hunt Drive. So I went up to Colonel Hunt Drive, and there is an existing cease and desist order written by Alec Bezanson going back to 1990.
9.
Or, yes. And then what happened is I called the police and they approached them and so forth, because according to the bylaws, we can't really do the cease and desist. It has to be done by an authority. I looked that up on the bylaws. So anyways, I knew nothing about this. In the interim, and I'm gonna ask for some follow-up, because Kathy was on the board at one point, I
was
found two, you also?
Yeah.
Okay,
I've dealt
I
with
found,
Michael.
and Nancy helped me, 2 full file boxes and a half a file drawer on this particular property that is less, or somewhere around a half an acre, okay? It's not an approved site from what I can see. In your, from the zoning, in your packet, I had Nancy make copies of just highlighted up on his lot. Mr. Learned has a copy of the Commonwealth, and this is dated October 20th, 1998. And it so says that, no, I'm sorry. Let's go on first to what's on the tree. And it says, and this is from 9/23/98, if you read down it, that it basically says that an agreement for the judgment, and it was filed, and it was for the plaintiff at that time. And that's when I got involved, and I'm saying to myself, well, why, if it was for the plaintiff, why are we even getting involved? Because there's been a judgment by the court. Then I start getting into all this, and I'm gonna ask you to, because I looked at this as far as being for the plaintiff, because that was the judgment from 1998, and since then, there has been lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit, boxes of pages that I've spent hours up there looking through this, and as far as I can tell, the cease and desist is still in effect that Alec Bezanson put in, and it also says right here, in the copy of the Department of Environmental Protection dated October 20th, 1998, and I won't read through the whole thing, but it says right here, according to Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws, may not be appealed to the department being of Environmental Protection. And also, it said in here somewhere, it had to be done within 60 days, and Mr. Learned did not do that. At this point, and I also have brought some bylaws with me for the fines and so forth that are in here. And I would like to ask you for a little history, more than, I mean, there's lawsuit after lawsuit. You were sued, the board was sued, everybody was sued.
The board was sued.
The board,
I don't think-
yeah.
I don't
I
think.
Not
the
you
person-
personally.
wasn't on for that.
What?
I wasn't on for the lawsuits.
No, Alec Bezanson was sued. There's pages and pages
I don't.
of lawyer.
We worked with town council,
Yeah,
So, my first comment would be, I think that we probably want to contact town council. is my
oh, I'm
first
just going through what the paperwork that's
Yeah,
there. And,
but the paperwork's-
And the names are on there as defendants.
Yes, because
Okay.
we were on the
On the board,
Conservation
right.
Commission. However, the last.
No, I'm just giving you what I have
Yeah,
found out.
right.
And where we go from here is, there is still an existing cease and desist order.
And it was looking at this, based on our town bylaws, is what the cease and desist is on.
And also the fact that he did not
And,
appeal it within 60 days.
the order, the order conditions don't, after 3 years, they expire anyway, so that
Right.
if they're not valid.
I sent him a letter and asked him to come in front of us to at least give us, this was before I found out the history and how it's gone on for almost 20 years, and the history of this, and asked him to come in front of us, and he sent me this letter back, which, honest to God, I'll say it in front of the TV and everything, I can't make heads or tails of what he's trying to say here. In this letter that he has dated November 22nd. I'm at kind of wit's end on what to do, except ask him to come in front of us.
I would suggest that we ask assistance from town council.
Before we-
That would be my first comment to you,
Yeah.
Mike,
Okay?
based on the past history.
It's gonna get there anyways.
Right, we might as well just go there now.
Get advice from town council. Okay, that's what we'll do. That's
I
all.
would suggest that would be the best, just
Okay.
based on the past history. I think
I-
it will go faster that way,
Yeah.
for both parties.
Okay, I just wanted to,
But I do think that there is a storied history behind this.
Oh my
It's
God.
gone back and forth a lot. And, I was not on the board for 10 years, so
Sure.
I missed.
He faded away. When I first went on the board, it was an issue, and then he just kind of faded away.
Right.
You see, I never knew there was a lawsuit. I would.
He kept filing court papers because he could.
Right.
He seemed to know how to do it, so.
and there was the neighbor, what was his name?
George Whiting.
Whiting,
Whiting.
they had lawsuits going back and forth too,
Right.
which
Right.
is pages and pages of, the documents going to the court between town council and their council and so forth, so the town was being, part of it or whatever, but,
But
That-
my
that's what we'll
suggestion,
do.
my first suggestion is let's invoke town council now, because I think, want to make sure that.
Start
well, the
Yeah.
question.
Well, I mean, we've got a cease and desist right now, and
You've got a
it's,
cease and
and
desist.
it's 3.
Should we implement the fines if he keeps dumping?
Since I was one of the authors of that bylaw, I think we should.
Okay,
But I think that, as I think we discussed in the bylaw committee, we prefer that people comply. A lot of it is just not
Okay.
understanding stuff and not having to do those fines. But
And-
my opinion would be, but other members of the board might have another opinion, that at some
What
point
has he
the
been
fines.
dumping? I didn't know he was dumping.
Yeah, what's he dumping, Mike?
there's just truck marks off the road. Of course, he can't actually get into his property because it's
It's a big
deep.
drop.
But it looks like he just dumped some windows or something there and up on the high ground, up on the Colonel Hunt. I don't know how he would ever get into his property anyways. It just seems to be on a cliff, right? So,
I think it, would,
Is he dumping or is he storing or,
it was covered.
you know?
Ask why he was suing you guys? Why did
he wanted to build a house, I believe, in the
Yeah,
past.
he had footings there. Didn't he have a foot in there?
I think he put them in before we approved it.
I had a few footings.
Say again, Jim?
Yeah.
Would you ask?
He had footings there, I thought, at one time.
He might have. Again, I've been here 4 or 5 years on the board, and this is the first I've knew anything about it. And to have almost a 20-year history was kind of shocking. So, but that's what we'll do. We'll just try to get some
Mike,
advice.
Is the stuff he's dumping, is it in the wetlands that he's dumping it?
No, it's up on top.
And it's on his property?
Yes,
Okay. Thank you.
yes. It's just, I mean, I get,
So the complaints were for the dumping, the
Yes.
new dumping? Okay.
Yes.
Isn't that a Board of Health thing? If he's dumping construction debris,
It's,
or if he's not dumping in the wetlands,
he's not dumping it in the, it's not in the wetlands, and it's up above. And it looks like it's just windows and it's covered with a tarp. I don't think we have any jurisdiction over that at all.
yeah.
It's neat, I mean, it is covered, I mean, it is his own land.
But what was he dumping before when Alex, we don't know.
Well, that goes way back.
Well, back 3 years ago, when Alex issued the orders of
3
condition.
years ago,
No, it was
No.
1998.
No, there's one in
No, there's one in
2012.
2012, yeah.
Oh,
Let's see,
yeah.
well, let's see what it says here.
what's the date on 2012?
You altered the wetland, 2012, November 24th. You altered the wetland resource and buffer to the wetlands at the property without a permit. So he actually went into, it sounds like he did something to the resource area in 2012.
September 24th.
Or September, sorry, I read the wrong month,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
I was
So
on
we
the board
can't-
then, but I wasn't
We can't even,
available for meetings then.
we can't even, you know, have fines because he's not in the wetlands, he's actually up above. So we can't,
well, he's in the buffer zone, you know, I guess we do have jurisdiction in the buffer zone. But, you know, the question is, how far away is he from the wetlands, Mike, do you know?
well, he's just off of Colonel Hunt Drive and he's way up. So if you take an upland and the distance,
The downland is where
yeah,
the
Yeah.
issue is. So I guess the question is, you know, is it more appropriate for the Board of Health to address?
If it's in our jurisdiction though,
It is within our jurisdiction, so that we
can't
can.
we send him a cease and desist on that before we just jump to fines?
see, there's
We
no
did.
sense in sending
We
another
did.
one.
Did.
You sent him a cease and desist, Mike, right? Is that your
No, I
letter?
just sent him a letter telling him that there was a cease and desist
Oh,
in,
on the property?
on the property now, and to, you know, come in front of us, and then he sent me back
Oh,
that letter.
okay. Oh, yeah, you basically, what you're trying to say is you've gotten, you know, somebody's called us, come
Yes.
in and talk to us. He should come in and talk to
Yes.
us.
Okay.
So we understand what's going on. But, and certainly we don't want him to start filling anything.
Yeah, this is why I.
So no, you know, I don't think the fines are appropriate yet, so.
No, okay, that's, okay, I was just trying to get a feel from the board.
But based on the past history, I still think we should copy town hall,
Town council.
town council.
Before it comes to us.
Okay, that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Now, the only other thing we have to go over right now is just the mail. Use mail. Saw the mail.
I'm a new board member.
Oh, okay.
Associate board member.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're an associate board member?
Yeah, Mary Ellen Martin. I was appointed last week at the,
Oh, so, and you are
Mary Ellen.
two Mary Ellens? We
You got
got-
Mary Ellen too?
Yeah.
Come on
They
up and
couldn't
sit
get any
with.
other name?
I know. I guess not.
So your last names
That was
are
it.
Mary Ellen
Martin.
and what? Martin?
Martin and
Oh, sorry, we would have invited you up.
That's okay. I walked
We
back.
thought we had Mary Ellen here.
Basham.
Basham. Basham.
I always tell people it's my husband's last name. We've been married for almost 15 years, and I just changed it to Basham, so.
Okay, what we have here is very simple. The zoning board is just updating.
Come up and sit with us if you're,
I walked a little late and the
They,
judge was speaking, so I didn't want to interrupt.
oh, zoning board of appeals
Yeah,
list.
and this is to tell us that the Old Colony Planning Council is having a meeting November 30th, which is Wednesday at 7 PM in Brockton. I said, it does say Brockton. And if anybody's interested, here's the blue pamphlet from UMass Extension for forestry conservation.
Are they going back to that class? Isn't that the class that Leonard took?
What?
The Massasoit wetland scientist?
No.
Mike, just out of curiosity, I take it we haven't heard anything back on Griffin's Dairy from the state? How long does something like that usually take?
6 months.
Oh, okay. Just curious.
On the short side.
On the short side, it can take a couple of
Like I
years.
never
On the
left.
long side.
They're,
And then-
they're hoping to have something so they can get it ready for the spring,
Yeah,
if the determination is
right.
favorable.
This is about the soccer fields?
Yeah.
Yes. If there's nothing else,
I wanted to mention that I went to the Community Preservation Act meeting.
oh, yeah.
And so this year, we will have about $300,000 in the coffers, plus the match, which is 20% from the state. Because it's our first year, I don't think we're going to get, I'm not sure that we're going to be in time to recommend any projects. So by the time we do, we'll have over 600,000. But 10% of the money every year has to go to open space at a minimum. Can be more. But if we're going to be looking for solicitations for proposals of work. So you guys might want to put on your thinking caps about what we in conservation would like to see. I mean, it might be, should we buy this piece of property? Maybe we should recommend it and fill out the form for it. Or do we want to, like, hiking trails at Griffin's Dairy? Or do we want to connect up the rail trail to Griffin's Dairy or someplace, you know, and to the air base? You know, there's lots of things that are out there, but think about it, what might be good for us on a conservation, because, you know, the ideas are going to come from us in the community. But
Now, is that this town's money, right?
it's this town's
This
money.
town's money.
So every year, you get a piece of the Community Preservation Act
Right.
fund. So the match, right now, looks like it will be about 20% for this year.
That's
So
the
that-
town has to put in 20%?
No, the town will get another 20%.
Oh, I got you.
So from the, you know, it was a 1.5% tax, so I think it's $300,000 they're gonna collect.
And we have to spend how much of it?
All of it?
We spend all of it eventually. It's only for community preservation, but it can be historic, you know,
Right.
preservation, so a historic house or a building. It can,
So you get a lot of
recreation,
developments.
housing, it can go to housing,
Senior housing.
senior housing.
And does this
open
go
space.
before town meeting?
We will have to go before town meeting to ask to actually spend the money, but we only have to go to town meeting.
Okay.
We don't have to go to a vote.
Can the money get broken up between projects, or is it
Yeah.
all or nothing?
Yes, yes, so that, you know, they,
So if historical wants a piece of it and we want a piece of
Some
it?
towns, such as the more affluent towns, they actually will buy 2 or 3 parcels of land just for open space, and that's what they'll do. They might have 10 on their plate, and they will come around and they'll try to get, you know, a couple of them, something like that. Because people, what they'll do is they'll actually go to the towns, the conservations, and they'll say, we'd like to have you buy our land. Then it's appraised and so forth, and that's...
And that's where that money comes from?
no money, but it, you know, it certainly, over time, some, you know, some projects will get approved. So just think about what might be worth it
Yeah,
for
over on
conservation.
Groveland Street, the landfill, if you look at the plans, you'd be amazed at how much town-owned land runs up and down between Groveland Street and Rockland Street. And it trails out there or something.
Right, exactly, you know, and it's the stuff that we just don't think about, because
No.
we've never had any money.
Yeah.
I'll ask you a question, because I don't know. Griffin's Dairy is owned by the town already. Can that money go toward anything at Griffin's Dairy?
I think it can go towards recreation purposes, but it cannot go to defraying the cost of the purchase, because it's already been purchased.
Right, but we
Say-
could recommend to
Say they wanna
bring
put-
in loam or something to,
They want to put hiking trails in there.
Okay.
It's an
Yeah.
obvious, to me, an obvious plus.
Mhm.
You know, they could probably defray some of the cost, you know.
so some of the other boards might, such as the selectmen, they might have a suggestion on how to offset some of their cost on something, if they could come to us type of
Well,
thing.
it will be to the Community Preservation Act Committee. But, you know, there's 9 of us, I think, no, 7 of us on it, it's big, 9. There's-
All from the town?
All from the
Oh, good.
town, planning, parks, housing.
Did they have any suggestions?
Not yet, we're gonna have an application form out, but I wanted you guys to think about it.
Okay,
Because as a commission, we probably want to think about what we want to do.
sounds good.
Do you get that out to like the residents somehow so that they can come forward with ideas?
We will.
Is
We'll,
that?
we'll
okay.
put it out. You know, I think right now we're in the initial stages, so we're feeling our oats, but we're going to put out an application form, and I would assume that we'll have them do that email blast they do from the town and
Okay.
put it out on the website, would be my guess.
Okay, I just didn't know how that worked at all, so.
Yeah, no, we'll try to, we would probably actually want to have a public hearing. You know, anybody can come to our meetings, but have a public hearing about it too,
Okay.
eventually.
Any deadlines?
Not
Or
yet.
Dates of anything, gotta be ready by, or?
No, because I don't think well,
by
we
the
have-
end of the year or something?
We're
Not
gonna
this
be-
year, but-
We're not gonna be ready. I would think we would want to be ready by at least, if not this April, next April. So we would want to have something done, definitized by next January, but I would guess that we try to do it earlier than that, to try to make sure that we're
Yeah.
moving along. My head was spinning after the meeting. They had some guy come in and talk about it. But I thought that you guys might want to think about what projects we might suggest.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a nice, it will actually be a nice benefit for the town. It'll be
So that-
interesting to see what comes up.
That board controls the money, per se.
Per se, yeah, the town, and, we'll make recommendations, put in warrant articles, but it'll be the town meeting that will approve it because of the legislative body.
Right,
Just like anything else.
yes. If there's anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Thank you.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Easy.
I'm gonna abstain on that one.
It was short. We didn't get to.
I told my wife I wouldn't be home till 11. Who wants to go to the bar?